Greetings and salutations, my beautiful people. I've got a spot. And a couple of months back, I did a top 10, which was entitled My Top 10 Games That I Like, But No One Else Does. And that kind of demonstrated how much of an idiot I am. And sometimes, you know, we can all have those games in the world that are critically really bad and technically really bad, or for whatever reason, but we just like them. So you know what I thought I should do? I should do a follow-up video to that and make a complete cock of myself and make the top 10 games that I don't like but everyone else does. Because, you know, that first video just needed a sequel that was dedicated to the opposite concept. And so the title of this video is being aptly renamed to Caddy's Death Sentence. Royal Wedding 2011, because then that will give me a few more views on it. This is not, I shall repeat, not an overrated games list, because it isn't an overrated games list. And I'm not going to be spending this video slagging off other people and calling everyone an idiot because they have a differing opinion to me, because you know what? That's just fucking absurd. When all fun and joking is aside, when people start getting unnecessarily nasty and mean-spirited about something as silly as what we do and don't like, that is childish, stupid, just outright dumb, very hypocritical, extremely hypocritical, and simply devoid of what makes gaming culture so interesting, fun, and diverse. Unless, of course, you like Dalmatians 3 or Rascal Racers, because they're both fucking terrible and everybody can see that. So yeah, in this video, I'm gonna try explaining to my best capacity why I personally don't like these games. And you know what? If you like them, that's fucking great. Good on you. Thousands, if not millions, of other people from all the games in this following list will agree with you on that. And there's nothing wrong with that at all. At all. I can see why people would love these games. But I don't. And that's it. Nothing more than that. Like I said, there's nobody out there that likes every single game ever made in the universe, so we all have these certain opinions on certain games where we can't see why everyone absolutely adores them. It's all just opinions at the end of the day, and I thought it'd be pretty fun to share some of these following games and my opinions towards them, so that's it. Let's just fucking shut up and get on with it.
Number 10 goes to the Call of Duty series. Why number 10? Because obvious choice is obviously obvious. Now, I'm not going to be one of those people that just call the games shit because they are, because technically, as games, they work. The shooting's great, the weapons are varied, tight controls, they all look good, it ticks all the right boxes for fast-paced Saturday night entertainment. And you know what? I actually really fucking loved the earlier COD games, especially Finest Hour. But you know what as well as that? After God knows how many pointless iterations, constant sequels that are basically the same game every year with different settings and maps, and utterly ridiculous plots given no thought or care into them at all, I need a little bit more from an FPS than what they deliver by just changing the jacket that they wear every year. Yes, they technically work and everything's okay, and I know I'm not alone on this opinion, but please, Call of Duty, some kind of originality would be fantastic. Thanks. Oh god, this list is just gonna end up being a list of video game series, isn't it? It's a serious. I never hear the end of people that hate me for having this opinion. Never hear the end. And you know what? I still stand by what I think no matter how many times I replay the earlier games. Why the Assassin's Creed games are so high up on this list though is because my girlfriend actually convinced me to get Black Flag on PS4. And you know what? After much skepticism, I fucking love it. That game is awesome. And then after playing through Black Flag with a brand new, fresh mind on Assassin's Creed, I tried 1, 2, and 3 again to see if I was just being a stubborn asshole when they came out. And you know what? I'm sorry, but I still do not like them. Personally, I found them to be repetitive, boring, with terrible characters, and I could not control the games at all. Meaning I always used to get caught by guards, and then once I tried evading them, I'd climb up the walls and immediately bounce off of them and fly all over the fucking place like a fucking bouncy ball in between 5 million table legs, and oh god, I don't like these games. So yes, Black Flag, for me, fixed everything that I didn't like about the earlier Assassin's Creeds, but as far as calling 2 the best one of the series, I'm afraid I can't agree with that. No, that's not right, I mean... Number 8 goes to a pretty obscure horror game and not actually one of the most popular out there, Siren Blood Curse on PS3. I've never spoken to anyone who's heard of this game, but if you have, then good for you. That means you must have done what I did and spend a fucking ungodly amount of money either finding an expensive pre-owned physical copy or buying each expensive episodic part on the PS Store, or maybe even just reading about it. I wish that's all I did. Read about it. Because playing it's a fucking nightmare! Okay, this may not be as popular as your Silent Hills or Resi Evils, but hey, the critical acclaim for this game was out of control. For me though, this game was the biggest wasted potential for anything I've ever seen ever. Creepy as fuck ideas, run and hide gameplay style, horrifically unsettling Japanese horror elements and visuals, and an awesome game mechanic called sight jacking, allowing you to enter the sight of your zombie enemies and see how they behave and react to what's around them. This sounded fucking terrifying. But for me, the game was far too dark and black and open-ended, making it very easy to get lost and frustrated. The camera was a fucking joke, the puzzles were ridiculous and stressful, and the controls, oh lord, the controls. Clunky, confusing, and overall, I did not like them at all. Instead of being challenging and scary, it was just unfair and really frustrating most of the time. I swear, controlling my cuddly toy parrot with my mind is more functional than this damn game. I swear. Angry Birds is a little bit fun. For a few minutes, and for me, that's it. It's an okay time waster and an okay puzzle action physics game thing. But hey, let's just step the fuck back for a second. When was the last time you saw a kid wearing an Angry Birds t-shirt? Or when was the last time you saw an Angry Birds plush toy? Or Angry Birds posters? Or Angry Birds action figures? Or random Star Wars Angry Birds merchandise? Or Angry Birds condoms? Basically everything fucking Angry Birds! Not to mention even an Angry Birds trilogy and Star Wars game on PS3 and PS4, which overall actually cost more than double what the same exact games cost on the Android and Apple app stores. I don't understand it. How could you even make this supposed TV series and rumored movie about slingshotting pissed off birds at pigs? How? I know I said that getting pissy and kiddie about this kind of stuff is wrong with gaming, but I'm actually only annoyed out of a complete lack of understanding. You could even say it makes me angry. Yeah, I don't get it. The games are okay, but I have no fucking idea what makes them that good. Someone in the comments, please explain this, showing all of your working, and I shall grade you at the end of the day. Class dismissed. Number 6 is the story of how I played probably the most requested game I ever had, next to Spyro the Dragon. Ha! And that game is known as Heart of Darkness, on the PlayStation El Nombre 1. I heard about how legendary and incredible this game is to no end at all, day in, day out, all over the place, in my Facebook messages and all of my @tags on Twitter. And then by complete coincidence, it turned out that my good friend the Completionist mentioned that he'd be reviewing this particular game in his collaboration month, and he asked me to guest star. Luckily, my friend Daz gave me his copy so I could give it a go, and sorry guys, I just didn't like it. I mean, I love cinematic platformers, all you gotta do is watch my Oddworld retrospective to figure that out, but for something, you know, cinematic, I thought that the FMV was ugly as shit, the plot was terrible, the controls were very slippy, and the design of each stage just made absolutely no sense for me. Everything that you interact with in the environments, you know, to progress the story, are equally as pre-rendered into the background as the plants and the rocks, and it's never actually made clear what you do with what, forcing you to just fire at everything and jump around over gaps blindly, hoping that you won't bump into a random obstruction or an enemy that you've never encountered before to come out of nowhere with no telegraphed attacks and kill you in one hit. Now this wouldn't be too much of a problem if this was a fast-paced, quick respawning checkpoint platformer, but that's not what this game is. It's a slow, drawn-out, cinematic experience, atmospheric platformer. But hey, that's just my stupid opinion, right? I hear people telling me all the time that the only reason I rate this game so low is because I'm completely shit at it, and the game isn't actually that hard because they beat it as kids very easily. But here's the thing, the design of this game hasn't changed since then. So when we're all kids playing all of these different games, we have all the time in the world to learn what the fuck is going on. And then no matter how many times you revisit it in the future, your mind remembers these things. It burns itself into your subconscious. I, however, a first-time playing adult with a lot going on in my life right now, don't have the time to learn everything. And after a week's worth of trying to play and beat this game for Gerard's review, I just couldn't do it. So, sorry, I guess. Number 5 may surprise a ton of people. It'll be so much of a surprise considering how much I love this franchise that I decided to narrate over no gameplay footage or music at all so that nobody could guess what I'm talking about until I say it. Okay, here goes. Metal Gear Solid The Twin Snakes, or more specifically, the GameCube remake of Metal Gear Solid 1. Yes, I should love this game, shouldn't I? Shouldn't I?
Dirty little beast.
But I don't. At all. Don't get me wrong, the effort behind this game is insane. There are brand new cutscenes for the story. The entire script was respoken by the voice actors. The entirety of Metal Gear Solid 2's game engines were implemented into the original game design. The graphics are so good. And that's exactly what I don't like about this game. All of those fucking things. Personally, I thought that the new cutscenes were pointless and unbelievably cheesy to a point of sucking me out of this serious nuclear world detonation story. The redone voices are, in my opinion, bad and nowhere near as gritty, serious, and believable than in MGS1. Not to mention extremely overdramatic to a point of 80s rock ballad fist clenching.
This is Snake. Colonel, can you hear me?
Loud and clear. What's the situation, Snake?
This is Snake. Colonel, can you hear me?
Loud and clear. What's the situation, Snake?
And where the graphics are great for the time, taking the game mechanics and engines from MGS2 and implementing them into the claustrophobic and industrial office-like level designs of MGS1 just, in my opinion, do not work. There was nothing wrong with what MGS1 did, and if you want to add new things into a remake, make them fun and necessary to accommodate the original game design. Not just add in first-person views and context-sensitive shooting points with ultra-clever enemy AI with backup calling abilities into something as crowded and extremely corridor-esque as MGS1. Twin Snakes. Great idea, but in my opinion, sloppy execution. And hey, Otacon looks like fucking Skeletor, alright?
Yeah, Solid Snake.
Number 4 is Left 4 Dead 2. Left 3 4 1 4 6 9 Dead 2 8 7 5. I played Left 4 Dead 1 ages ago when I was younger, and I didn't think it was that great, but after all of my friends recently told me how much fun and great Left 4 Dead 2 was online, I gave in and bought it. After all, I don't want to be left out. Left 4 Dead out. And after God knows how many hours trying to find what was so great about this, I just couldn't. Sorry guys, I didn't like the lack of weight or impact that the guns had, how paper thin the zombies were, how boring the map designs were, and yeah. When that is all that your game is, and that's kind of it with what I don't like about them, then the whole series just doesn't really appeal to me whatsoever. Not to mention that I couldn't actually see much of a huge difference between 1 and 2, so I don't know. You guys can have fun online with your own selves, but I'll be forever non-understanding with all of it. My apologies. Number 3 goes to a game I just never saw the hype with. Halo. When it came out, I didn't like it, and today, I don't like it. When I was a kid on this game's release, I didn't like this game because I just didn't. No explanation, it just didn't interest me. It didn't excite me, it didn't scare me, it didn't suck me in, so basically I just gave up. But even today, going back onto it after liking the look of all the other games, I still don't like it. But there was a reason this time round, because of one simple thing. Not because of the environments or the shooting or any of that stuff, because of Master Chief. Or John, whatever his fucking name is. I just didn't find him very interesting. At all. In fact, any of the characters. And considering the epic scenes and serious badass moments that this game impressively shows off, especially for the time, the lack of caring about my main character, along with everybody else, is a huge problem for me in a lore such as this. I can actually completely relate this with the same story I experienced with Dead Space 2. Isaac Clarke was such a cool guy in Dead Space 1, but then take his helmet off and open his mouth and the entire story felt dampened by a boring slate of a main character. At least in my opinion anyway. So guys, you gotta let me know if Halo 1 can be skipped without actually losing the plot, and if Master Chief actually turns out to be an interesting character in the later games, I will give this series another go for sure. But as it stands right now, yawn. At least for me. And it's at number 3 because I feel very alone on that front. Yes, I don't like Sonic Adventure 2. Shoot me. I don't like Sonic Adventure 1 as well, but when everyone talks about the best Sonic games, or hell, the best games ever made, Sonic Adventure 2 always creeps its way into people's thoughts on a scarily common basis, and I mostly feel completely alone with not liking it. I mean, I'm not the biggest Sonic fan as it stands anyway, but I just don't understand what the appeal of this game is whatsoever. A few years ago, I borrowed the GameCube port, which was the battle version or something, and then even in the first few seconds of gameplay, if you move the analog stick so slightly off to the left or the right, Sonic flies up to fucking Mercury. I don't know if anyone gets what I mean, but I just found this game to be so damn jittery for what it was trying to do. The speed here for me was just unfair and unmanageable. It works great on a 2D plane, and hell, it even works really well on Sonic Generations for 3D. But here, for the whole game, I personally spent it like this. Run fast, hit a wall. Run fast, hit an enemy. Run fast, try to turn left or right, fly off the fucking map. And then when other characters started getting involved and you slow down the game with the platforming bits and the treasure hunting, digging shit, and oh lord, I shiver to think about them. Yes, I stick my hands up. I'm probably probably really shit at this game, but hey, if I were any better at it, it still doesn't mean I'd like it anymore. It just doesn't rub me the right way, you know? And also, I thought that those cutscenes were unbearable. I know it's Sonic, so cheesiness is a given, but awful voice acting, outright awful jokes, and choppy animations just don't appeal to me. I don't find them charming, I don't find them really that long-lasting, I just find them bad, I guess. Am I the only one that thinks this? I hope not, because I'm starting to really feel alone now, and I think everyone hates me.
The chances are none of you are going to understand my #1 pick. I mean, I grew up with the PS1. That was my childhood console. I never grew up with a Nintendo console, only the PlayStation. And I cover PS1 games nearly all the time on my review show. So theoretically, being so in love with that console, I should love this game. But I don't. My #1 pick goes to Final Fantasy VII.
Yeah, string me up, hang me, shoot me, burn me alive. Shove a pitchfork up my ass! I feel so completely, goddamn, utterly secluded and alone, more so than any other game on this list, for not liking Final Fantasy VII. I mean, from the get-go, the fact that I'm not the biggest fan of static turn-based combat is a big problem anyway, at least with no skillful reaction mechanics spiced in to make it actually interactive with the player. But when I heard from everybody about the masterpiece that is Final Fantasy VII, and after everybody says, oh, but you do PS1 games, why don't you talk about Final Fantasy? And the fact that FF7 is supposed to be the best game on the PS1, you know what, I had to try it out. There was so much hype built up with this game. I then got 3 hours into the game. 3 hours, and I didn't like it. I tried my hardest to like it, believe me. I didn't want to be a huge PlayStation fan that didn't like FF7, so I really stuck with it as hard as I could, and after every 30 minutes of play, I just waited for something worthwhile or interesting to happen, and then once I got 3 hours in and found myself getting really bored, I just couldn't continue. Where I loved the intro, loved the story build-up, loved the music, and loved the visual style, especially the FMV, I didn't like the combat, I didn't like the random encounters, I didn't like navigating and exploring, and I couldn't care less about my characters. I couldn't stand any of them. And at the end of the day, no matter how much I love the cinematic appeal to this game, that's what this is. A game. And I did not like the game or the way it played. And I did not care an ounce enough for what was going on after 3 hours of my time to carry on with it. I know people are probably gonna say, oh, you should have put more time into it, or 3 hours, everything gets going, or blah, 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 but 3 hours is a long time for anything, especially a PS1 game, to try and engross the audience. So, sorry guys, I'm so sorry. I gave it my best shot, but no, I'm a fucking idiot.
So there you have it, my top 10 games that I don't like, but everyone else does. Not the most overrated at all, but just the games I don't like. Thanks so much for watching, guys, and as always, leave all of your fucking comments in the comment section, because I am so interested to see what all of you guys have, well, think about what I think, and what games that you just don't like and everyone else does and you can't understand why people like it. Just share away. I'm very interested to know, because you know what? We all have those games. All of us. And until next time, if it's your birthday today or watching this video, then happy frickin' birthday to you, and please remember to stay beautiful. I'm gonna die, aren't I? I might as well just fucking get it over with.
Hello everybody, and thanks very much for watching my top 10 games that I don't like and everyone else does. Like I said, in the description there is my top 10 games that I do like and no one else does, so you can have a look at that. And on to the left of this panel is another top 10 video, the top 10 people in video games that probably stink like shit. I'm not even joking, that's what the video is called. And on to the right is my last proper Caddicarus review on the Jungle Book Groove Party, so go and have a look at that. It's got crazy editing and crazy filming and crazy fucking everything, so go and have a look at that and enjoy it. And I also want to take this time to say that in the description there's loads of interesting stuff, like my Games Grabber profile and all that kind of stuff, but I should also say that I am voicing in an indie video game. Yes, and this is actually something that's happening right this second. A Kickstarter was released a couple of hours ago, and you can go straight to it in the description. It's a game called Buck, and the videos are all on the Kickstarter and everything. I think that you'll see my character doing a bit of speaking in the Kickstarter video, so you can have a look at that, but yep, I'm voicing in this game. It looks fucking awesome, and everyone should go and support it, because I'm supporting it to hell and back. So yeah, if you're interested, go and have a look at it, and I hope you enjoy it. Thanks again for watching, and I'll see you all guys next time.